Universal Studios Florida at the Universal Orlando Resort has some amazing rides. Revenge of the Mummy, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, and then there are some rides that are just bad. Hey everybody, it's Chris for AllEars TV and AllEars.net. Today, we're talking about the 4 worst rides in one of Universal Orlando Resort's 3 parks, Universal Studios Florida. Not every ride's going to agree with every visitor, and today, we're going to look at which rides you might want to avoid. And remember, this list comes straight from reviews posted on AllEars.net by our viewers. Coming in as the number 4 worst ride in Universal Studios Florida, as chosen by our viewers with a rating of 5.91, is Shrek 4D.
I cannot believe that you would put Shrek 4D on the worst rides in Universal list. Shrek is, hands down, the best IP that Universal has. Yeah, Harry Potter, whatever, but Shrek is the best. Shrek is so good. And
okay, we'll let Quincy get this out of her system while we continue on. This 4D motion simulator ride, opening on June 12, 2003, takes place right after the first Shrek film. The spirit of Lord Farquaad returns from the dead to capture Princess Fiona, so Shrek and Donkey set out to rescue her. To find out why you picked this ride as the 4th worst, let's check in with one of your All-Ears reviews.
Leandro Rodriguez says, it's Shrek. It's a good story and movie, but it's quite old now. With tons of Shrek content available and years without any new content, this attraction kind of lost its appeal to the public.
I got nothing against Shrek 4D. I love Shrek. Probably not as much as Quincy, but it's a cute show I laugh every time, and the ghost of Lord Farquaad is what I never knew I needed to see.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Shrek. I'm not a fan of Shrek 4D. I think it's a great place to go and escape the heat, but outside of that, it can be very congested very quickly in the queue, and then the attraction itself is kind of subpar. Do me a favor, don't tell Quincy.
it just got inducted into the National, whatever it's called, Library of Cinema, something like that. The National Libraries. It's like the Movie Hall of Fame, and Shrek's in it for being culturally significant.
What I'm gathering here is that the attraction is a little dated, but the lines for it still get pretty long. Another reviewer named Jania Rivera adds, "You might not understand it that much if you've never watched Shrek before." Okay, so the fact that Quincy is a huge Shrek fan may be clouding her judgment where the attraction is concerned. K Weber 24 cut to the point with her review when she said, "I do think that it's a little outdated and could be updated since 3 movies came out since the ride was built. This 3D ride show does not hurt my head the way the others do. So you guys, at least it won't hurt your head." The pros. If you have a Shrek lover in the family, you're going to want to make sure you get them to this show. With no height requirement and family-friendly subject matter, this is one your whole family can enjoy together. Some of your reviews mention this 3D animation felt easier on the eyes than other attractions at Universal Orlando Resort. The cons? If you aren't a Shrek fan, this story and these characters aren't going to make a whole lot of sense to you. Shrek came out in 2001. This attraction opened in 2003, so it makes sense this would feel a little dated. This is a 16-minute film and only operates in 1 theater, so wait times can get long. The number 3 worst ride in Universal Studios Florida, as decided by you, our viewers, with a rating of 5.79 is Race Through New York, starring Jimmy Fallon. This 3D motion simulator attraction, themed after Jimmy Fallon and The Tonight Show, is housed inside a replica of 30 Rock, where The Tonight Show is taped, and the corridors of the actual NBC studios are also replicated in the queue. Apparently, the idea for this ride came from, well, Jimmy Fallon himself.
Who asked for this? Besides Jimmy Fallon.
That's literally true. At first, executives turned down his idea, but ultimately they gave in and let Jimmy have his ride. Too bad it had to replace the classic Twister attraction in the process. I miss that flying cow.
An anonymous reviewer said, it's really boring. Viewers of the Jimmy Fallon Show will love it. Long wait, boring, only want to ride it once.
This is very much a ride from Jimmy Fallon for Jimmy Fallon. And I think the people who are going to enjoy it most are the ones that watch the show, that are going to get all of the inside jokes and the recurring gags that happen throughout the ride.
And now, another exciting episode of Universal Orlando Resort is the motion sickness capital of the universe. A reviewer named Julianne Farrell warns, if you're prone to motion sickness, this ride is in no way for you because it will make you nauseous. And Lydia adds, it made my husband very sick, so avoid if you are prone to motion sickness or sensitive to 3D and simulators.
Before I rode this ride, I was indifferent to Jimmy Fallon. I liked him. And then I rode this and wasted 30 minutes waiting for and riding it and got really motion sick. And now when I see Jimmy Fallon, I get viscerally upset.
Who wanted this?
So is there anything good about this ride? Well, a reviewer named Desiree630 was much more positive and said, awesome! You really feel like you're moving and racing. Such a fun waiting room too. Why can't all rides have a waiting room where you can charge your phone in the AC while you relax? The pros. A few reviewers noted that this ride is fun and silly, which can be a nice break from some of Universal's more thrilling attractions. This is a good ride to sandwich into your plans, and a pre-boarding area that lets you relax in the AC is a nice plus. If you love Jimmy, you're definitely going to want to make this one a priority. The cons. It's a ride based on a late-night talk show. Sure, they took the story out of the studio, but your source material on this one is outside of the usual fodder for thrill rides. If you're short on time, with a lot you want to see and do in Universal Studios Florida, the long wait and the just okay factor of this ride might make you wish you spent your time elsewhere. Motion sickness is a theme in many of your ride and attraction reviews on AllEars. This ride is no exception. The number 2 worst ride in Universal Studios Florida, according to our viewers, with a rating of 3.83 is Kang and Kodo's Twirl and Hurl. Built by the Zamperla Company, the same company who built Dumbo the Flying Elephant for Magic Kingdom, you can expect a lot of comparisons between the two rides, and for very good reason. Let's jump right into one of your reviews to try and understand why it got rated so low.
Mel D13 says, fun Dumbo style attraction. Universal Studios has very few kid rides, so this is a great ride to have. It's also more fun than it looks. Not unique.
I like King and Kodos because it's just like your staple theme park twirl ride, but it's plussed by Simpsons comedy.
And Quincy brings up a key point. Kang and Kodos are recurring Simpsons characters, those aliens who are mainstays in the Treehouse of Horror series of episodes. There's also sort of a game element where if you line your spaceship up with these pictures of other Simpsons characters as you pass them, you hear that the characters react like they got hit while their photo spins around.
Okay, adults, hear me out. If there's no line, go on this attraction and listen closely to what the aliens are saying, because I laughed out loud multiple times because all the aliens do is talk about how dumb humans are and how they're gonna take over the planet and eat you, and I have never seen The Simpsons, but I still laughed on this attraction.
Okay, so it sounds like there are fun elements for adults, even though this style of ride is traditionally geared towards kids. Reviewer Jania Rivera said, your average fare ride, super boring and typical. They could have used that space for something better. The fact is, if you've been to one of the major theme parks, it's likely you've ridden a ride like this before. If you love The Simpsons, this one manages to integrate some of that style of humor into the experience. If you aren't a Simpsons fan and you don't have kids, this ride will probably disappoint you. As a reviewer named Mousehouse7 said, it's a knockoff of Dumbo. And based on the timeline of when it was built after Magic Kingdom's current Dumbo ride, and the company who built them both, that's pretty much a fact. The pros. While there is a 48-inch height requirement, kids will love the gentle thrill the ride provides. The flat, very dry sarcasm expressed in this ride is unmatched. While there are a few similar attractions that can be found at Disney World, none of them offer the game aspect that this one does, which definitely gives it a unique feel. The cons. This is literally the same ride system built by the same company as Dumbo in Magic Kingdom. If you come to Universal Studios Florida seeking thrills, your time may be better spent on some more grown-up rides and attractions. If you aren't a fan of sarcasm, this ride may leave you scratching your head saying, tell me why that was funny again? And the number 1 worst ride in Universal Studios Florida, coming in at an almost unbelievably low rating of 3.42, Fast and Furious Supercharged.
How dare you? How dare you? First of all, this is a ride based on the Fast and the Furious films. What did you expect? Did you expect it to be really good? That was your fault. You should not expect anything based on the Fast and the Furious films to be really good. You should expect it to be the ride version.
Okay, clearly Molly feels passionately about this ride, but let's hear from one of your reviews to find out why you disliked it so much. Matt Marek 497 says, worst ride in the park. This is a cheap simulator ride, no different than Kong, except the effects are poor, even on video game standards. Do not waste your time. They should just demolish the ride and replace it. This ride is corny, not fun, and overall poorly made. Matt Marek 497, not afraid to share his feelings. Maybe the cheesiness of this ride is that Molly's love doesn't translate to everyone's taste. It's sounding like the love for this ride is in the ironic, so bad it's good zone.
Yeah, so I have ridden this attraction a lot, and I still can't tell you what the plot is. What I can tell you is that Vin Diesel somehow hangs onto a helicopter that is the same size as him, and then is able to seamlessly release himself from the helicopter and slide into his vehicle without causing any damage to the surrounding area. So that does happen.
So, we're the family. When you're family, you stick together, and you're our family forever. Family, roll out.
Reviewer Jania Rivera said, I love the Fast and Furious franchise, but this ride is just the worst. The theming is okay, and the only thing I'd recommend going on it for is just the queue. It's so boring, and the plot doesn't even make sense. Okay, so the queue's very cool, but let's be real. It's themed after a warehouse in Los Angeles, and it's surrounding outdoor spaces that are overgrown with weeds. We're not talking about complex theming elements, but the execution is very immersive and effective nonetheless.
I have so many questions. Why Fast and the Furious? Why am I on a bus? Why am I going to a party? Why is it a motion sim? Why would you do this at all?
So this is a ride I've been on exactly one time, but it was very memorable and I loved it. You've got Vin Diesel hanging off of a helicopter for question mark reason. It has a little bit of everything. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I think others would too.
If you spend too much time on the ride trying to figure it out, you're destined to become frustrated and remain confused. A reviewer named KSabo71 said, went on this the first time without having ever watched the movies. I just watched all the movies recently and I'm ready to go on this again now that I'm in the loop. I don't know if watching the movies will fill in all the blanks, but the movies are definitely cool. Mel D13 said, not fast. Might make you furious if you waited in a long line though. Storyline is dumb. Ride is not thrilling or fun at all. Who makes a ride based on this movie with people in a bus? Also, another one of the rides that the thrill is basically you being shook around and pushed back and forth. I've never understood the thrill of that at all.
So again, I say, how dare you? How dare you insult my family like that?
Molly, I think it's time for a snack. The pros. If ironic humor is your style, you may love this ride. You really feel like you're in a warehouse district in LA. Not my first choice of a place to hang out, but they executed it very well. All the stars from the movie are there. Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Tyrese Gibson, and Ludacris. The cons. Even those who know and love the franchise have a hard time following the storyline. It's loud. You're shaking around on a party bus, but you don't actually go much of anywhere, and ultimately, though it's well done, you're just driving through a series of movie screens. Those who aren't a fan of ironic humor will think this ride is, well, bad, and will seriously wonder what all the laughing is about. What do you think of this list? Did you agree with your fellow viewers, or do you think they got it all wrong? Great news! We want your opinions at AllEars.net. There you can leave reviews for everything Universal and Disney parks related, hotels, restaurants, rides, and more. Please add your voice, and who knows, your opinion may be included in a future episode. Be sure to follow us on social media, All Ears on all platforms. There you can take part in polls that help other viewers know what to prioritize and even what to avoid altogether. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and click that thumbs up. Be sure to stay tuned to AllEars TV and AllEars.net for more Disney news. Follow us on Instagram at AllEars.net. New to the channel? Check out our other AllEars videos right here, and please subscribe to AllEars.net. Clang the little notification bell so you immediately get notified when we post a new video. This is Chris for AllEars TV. See you next time.